We're gonna record everything that we're ASMR. ASMR with Susada and Sadiksha. Welcome to Wise and Wild Podcast. Hello, it's me.
What's the lyrics? I'm in California dreaming about who we used to be. Hello, where are you? Or something like that. I don't know the lyrics.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, can
I've
you hear?
been California dreaming about who we used to be when we were young.
Oh, she knows the lyrics. Okay. I don't know the lyrics.
And free. Hi, Sadiksha. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well as well. Let me just fix this, Oilile. But hey, thanks for coming. Thanks for, taking gracious invitation and accepting me and expressing your voices and opinions for my podcast.
Of course, anytime. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate that. I wish we were recording a video so like people could see what you were doing.
I know. What?
I'm the man. No, just kidding.
All right. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I know you, but I would love for my audience to get to know you. Tell me about yourself.
Oh, okay. Do I just say?
Yeah, whatever you
Okay.
want to say.
Clearly, I've not done this before, so it feels a little awkward, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
But hello, everyone. My name is Sadiksha. I don't know what to say after that.
Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we start with who you are, what do you do, where do you live, and what's going on in your life? What's your favorite hobby?
Oh, okay. I'm being interviewed right now. Okay. Got to remember that. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll start again. So, hi everyone. My name is Sadiksha. I am a Nepalese Canadian. I've been living in Canada for the past 16 years. And currently I reside in Surrey. I'm an emergency trained nurse by profession, and what was the other question? What's my hobbies or something you said?
Are you single?
Is that what we're gonna talk about today?
Maybe we'll see.
Yes, I am.
Okay. And ready to mingle?
I don't know about that, but single for sure, and I'm quite happy with where I'm at right now, and yeah, just trying to enjoy my life as much as I can, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So you mentioned you came here 16 years ago.
Yes.
Must be pretty young, no?
Yeah, I was 14 years old when I moved to Canada with my family. Mm-hmm. My parents decided to move here, so me and my sister came along, basically. And it was an interesting journey for sure, and challenging as well. Yeah.
Okay, first my BC aएको कि?
No, we came to London, Ontario. Yeah. It's a 2 hours drive from Toronto.
Oh my God, it must be cold.
Yeah, we came in November actually, so it was very, very cold. I was very excited to see the snow for the first time. That was very exciting, but after a day or two, you're just like, no, I cannot. I can't do this anymore, it's so cold, and we used to get like snow blizzards, and just like commuting, everything was really difficult. So yeah, for a day or two, I really enjoyed the snow, but after that, I was like, that's it, I can't do this. So we stayed there for about 8 months. Mm-hmm. And then because of the weather and just everything else that was going on at that time, my dad decided to move to Vancouver, well, Surrey to be specific. And I've been here since.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the first city that you moved to is Surrey, and you're still living in the same city?
Yes, I'm still living in the same city, yes. I've moved around a lot, like houses, we've moved around a lot, but city-wise, yes, we've been in Surrey since. Yeah.
Yeah. So, moving at 14, that's like a teenage time. That's when you make good friends. You make like, your heart is fluttery, your butterflies are coming here and there, and, you're trying
raging
to adapt.
Hormones. No,
Yes, yes, raising hormones, and you're just trying to adapt into, I guess, यो बेलामा त high school हुन्छ हैन?
High school, yes.
Yeah.
High school मा थियो.
So, तिमी high school मा हुँदाखेरि यता move भएको?
Yes, so grade 9 to be specific.
Okay.
So Nepalma, I did maybe like 2 months of grade 9. And then when I moved here, I went to the high school in London, Ontario, right, where once I'm midway through start Goryo, grade 9. And then when I moved to BC, I started from grade 10. So yeah, high school sabai, I did it here, the rest of it basically, and all my other education, higher education too.
How did you decide that you wanted to be a nurse? Because that's a pretty intense profession very intense occupation भनौँ न, for especially for a person that I know who you are, to choose that path for yourself. Was it more intuitive, or you just followed what other people were doing?
Honestly, I think more than intuitive, it was more like, there's always that where it's like you need to go into more of a technical field, right? Doctor, nurse, engineer, like those kind of things.
The expectation from parents, oh my God.
Parents and just society in general. And at that time when I was in high school, everyone was kind of applying for nursing or engineering. It was one of the fields that they were applying to a lot, and I was not interested in engineering whatsoever. So nursing was another thing because one of my friends had applied at that time. So I just kind of went along, and I also had applied for forestry for some reason. Well, I know the reason.
Why?
I was like, this is going to sound so stupid, but I was like, oh, I love outdoorsy stuff.
Nature.
I love nature. And if I go into forestry, I get to be with plants and just be out and about, and it's going to be so much fun. So I applied to forestry and I applied to nursing because my friend had applied too, and I got into both.
Wow, that means your grades were great.
No, apparently forestry everyone gets into.
Oh, okay. Was that easy?
Yeah, it's very easy. I'm easy, sorry. So I was like, I was so proud, I got into forestry and nursing. But everyone was like, oh yeah, everyone gets into forestry. So I'd gotten into forestry and at UBC, and then nursing at Kwantlen. And the obvious choice, of course, if I asked the people around, including my parents, they were like, yeah, nursing sounds like more of a stable career, and I do enjoy helping people. So that became my choice basically, and I just kind of pushed through. Yeah.
Well, that sounds grueling, but
happy
at the same time too.
Nursing school was definitely something I would not want to, if I wouldn't go back through that experience again, because I think it was a lot, especially coming right out of high school, and it was a lot to process emotionally as well. So nursing school, the 4 years were quite gruesome, and after that, once you graduate, the reality is very different as well. As prepared as you are, as prepared as you think you are, you're not. And I started off from emergency, so I think that also kind of threw me into the reality very, very quickly. Got a reality check very, very quickly in the emergency department, and I was working at one of the most busiest emergency departments in Canada, and it was quite a crazy ride, I would say. Yeah.
Can you share maybe a couple of incidences, maybe not so intense, but interesting for you to learn about, and just you had a shock moment?
I think there were a lot of those, to be honest with you, and I had the ones when you're asking me this question, the one that stands out to me the most are where patients have unfortunately passed away and stuff, and I think that's one part that I found challenging at that time was just you can
Facing
never
that.
like you never get used to that. No matter how many of those you see, you never get used to that. And unfortunately, there's nowhere to really process that sort of emotions, because while you're at work, it's like, okay, your patient passes away. Okay, move on to the next one. Oh, trauma. There's a trauma in another room, so you need to move on to the next one. So it's just like always go, go, go. And after work, you can't really talk about these kind of stuff with your family or your non-nursing friends. So you talk with your nursing friends, but again, they're also young. They're also going through similar stuff. So we're not really,
So you're keeping emotions at bay because the occupation that you have chosen.
Yeah, it's like a lot of suppressing your emotions or trying not to feel a certain way, trying to like hide the sadness or the upset, the hurt, whatever it is, the emotion that you're feeling, like a lot of that. And I think because of that, I struggle a little bit still because of that experience as well. Yes, it has made me strong. At the same time, also, I feel like a part of me wishes that I could have taken care of myself better as well. Yeah.
No, I mean, at the same time, I also think you don't necessarily have the skills or tools when you're early 20s to cope up with what you're going through.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like
I didn't know what the fuck I was doing when I was early 20s.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure myself out, and now I have someone's life in my hand, and I'm just whenever something goes wrong or something happens, I'm just expected to pretend like nothing happened and carry on, like it's normal,
Damn.
And I think that definitely was very difficult, especially the initial years, and definitely I still talk about it years later too, so it has really stuck to me as well. So yeah, it is tough, like you said, you're not used to, you're still trying to figure out what you want to do. I mean, I still am, honestly. But 20s is a bit different, where it's like, you're just fresh out of school, or you're still in school and you're still trying to figure out what is happening. You're trying to adjust into adulthood. And if you bring that responsibility of, taking care of someone's life, I think that adds a lot of pressure for sure. And we didn't have better ways to cope with it.
Technical capability to build garden.
Exactly.
Emotional capability.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would be frightened.
I was too. Trust me, I think it's a normal but it's so and it's really hard not to be hard on yourself when all those things are going on, because you see they are just carrying on with everything, like everything seems fine, like what makes me special that I need to take care of myself,
and everybody's going,
everyone's going, and when you talk to your like colleagues and stuff, they're all like, yeah, that's just how it is, or your supervisors or someone, it's like, it's just how it is, like suck it up and move on kind of thing.
Wow.
And yeah, like mental health is not really talked about at all, and so you have a therapy and stuff.
Even in hospitals.
In hospitals, no. Like I still remember coworker whenever we mentioned about therapy or anything like that, because I had never done therapy at that time. Well, I never reached out to any therapist at that time, and I remember just talking to one of my colleagues, and he was just like, well, therapy is just a waste of time, like you just go in, and as soon as you start like talking about things, they're like, oh, it's time's up, and they're just there for money, like it's not worth it. Mm-hmm. So though, like hearing those kind of comments really kind of discourages you from moving forward or trying that thing.
RN is a lucrative career too, no? I think a lot of people get into that career because the pay we
have decent pay, I would say. Yeah. It's not a very lucrative career, I wouldn't say that, because honestly, now that I've been in RN for so many years, mm-hmm. I have realized there are so many other jobs that get paid way more than nurses do, and yeah, like it's crazy. Sometimes I'm like, I cannot believe that we're paid this little to deal with all this shit that we deal with. I am not even kidding. Like all the stuff that we deal with, I'm just like, it's
the
not
worst the human can experience.
Yeah, and then especially in emergency, you know, people are coming in when they are at that stage where they're not the best because they themselves are going through crisis mode, Nita, right? They are in that stage where they're like, oh my God, they've just found out something, or they're going through so much pain they can't think straight. So we see a lot of patients who are like having panic attacks, or like they are just aggressive at all, like, initially, because they just don't know what is happening with them and they're freaking out basically. So it's really hard to deal with that sort of situation, because yes, it's as amazing as it is to be in that position where you're the first point of contact when, you know, a person is going through that crisis in their life. It is also super, super challenging to navigate that as well. Yeah.
So as a nurse, I'm assuming because it's an emergency, you had to face a lot of those kind of situations.
Yeah.
I was wondering to ask if, I mean, if somebody wants to be a nurse at this, like their early teens, or they're trying in their high school, they're thinking of flying in, being a health practitioner or whatever, what suggestion would you give to people? Like, it doesn't, well, what my point is, nurse को different path पनि हुन्छ कि just हुन्छ नि hospitalमै काम गर्ने टाइपको मात्र हुन्छ?
No, hospitalमै मात्र काम गर्ने हुन्न. Nurse को definitely there's a lot of options out there. I wish I knew that when I started, because when I was in school, that was back in, I started nursing in 2011. 2011 months, it was just... Oh my God, don't mention that, please. I started in 2011, but I finished in 2015. So, yeah, it's been, oh gosh. I'm like counting in my head, wow, like that makes me sound really old, but it's fine.
No, I mean, you get younger as you get old.
Yeah, no, it's just because it just feels like yesterday, Nita. So it's when people say it out loud, it's like, oh, it's been like X amount of years, 10 years or 13 years. I'm like, what? Has it been that many years?
Because it feels like just
yesterday. Just like yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So back to your question, yes, definitely there are different paths for nurses. Like there's like informatics, which is basically clinical side of nursing, and also the technical side, the technology side that's combined. There's also public health you can do, where you work in the communities, or home health, which is also community-based as well. So there's not just hospital bedside nursing. You don't limit yourself to that, basically. And it is a very tough career, so I would say just really be mindful of the people that you surround yourself with, and also really take care of yourself in that process, especially your mental health. And it's very, very easy to burn out very quickly in nursing, because it is very physically and emotionally demanding career.
In hindsight, would you say were you burnt out?
Oh yeah, 100%. I'm still recovering from it. Like, I was 100% burnt out. I didn't recognize the symptoms earlier, but yes, I was 100% burnt out, and hence that's the reason why for the past year or two I have not been able to do bedside nursing, and I've kind of switched my gears, and I'm in the informatics side of nursing now, which I'm really thankful for, because it has really allowed me to rest, which I didn't. Huh?
How's that working out?
Oh, great. I would say it's been great, because, you know, I didn't realize how much of a rest my body and my mind was asking until I took that break. So I think that has been amazing. Yeah.
Why do you think you didn't realize you're burnt out?
Because, you know, everybody around you is just doing the same thing, and you think it's the norm, you know. And again, for me, there were certain parts of me where I was like, oh, I'm feeling these emotions. Oh, I shouldn't feel this way. I should be grateful for what I have, you know. There are people who would love to be in my position right now as a nurse, working in departments and stuff, right? So, yeah.
Just to get a glimpse of your life as an RN, how many hours did you work in a day or in a week?
So roughly it's like, give or take average, it's usually when you're working full time, it's 4 shifts in a row, 4 12-hour shifts in a row. So 2 days, 2 nights usually, and then you would get 4 days off to recover, and then you would be back again 2 days, 2 nights. But that varies because depending on your preference, day versus nights, and your availability. I remember I did a lot of like 5 nights in a row, for example, or I would do 3 days and 2 nights in a row. And 12-hour shifts turned into 14-hour shifts sometimes, or 16-hour shifts. So, because we were doing a lot of overtime because we were very short-staffed, and this was pre-pandemic too. There was a shortage going on even back then, and it's been awful since, right? Which is very unfortunate. But yeah,
Basically, health industry ne alikati
I think
it's even very hard to find doctors.
I think it's been actually Canada-wide, Ontario,
there's a shortage.
Yeah, there's been
staff?
medical staff, especially nurses, and safe environments right, which is true as well. So yeah.
Oh my god. 12 घण्टा काम गरेर यार.
Yeah, it's definitely त्यही भएर मैले भने नि, like it's very physically and like emotionally demanding. So really do your research and talk to nurses if you can, right? If you are planning to go into that sort of career.
What encompassed burnt out for you? So what symptoms were there when you said, okay, I need to stop? At what point you were like, oh my god, this is getting way out of my head and my body is demanding for rest?
Just being chronically exhausted, like not just body but mind too. Like my mind felt like I just couldn't think straight because I was so exhausted all the time. No matter how much I slept, I felt very exhausted. And there were times when I felt as if there were days when I would feel so drained, so tired, but not be able to sleep. So there were days like that where it was kind of weird. Like I know it's you were like, what?
Yeah, I'm just like
I would be like
shocked.
so tired, but I just cannot get one bit of sleep. And I remember going to shifts with zero amount of sleep, literally. Night shift until.
Oh my gosh.
So like during the day we're supposed to sleep before night shift, right? Usually I would sleep like 4 or 5 hours and go to work, but there would be days when I just could not sleep the whole day, and I'm showing up to my shift supposedly taking care of my patient actually, right? With zero amount of sleep, running just solely on caffeine for the next 14 hours or so, 12 to 14 hours. And like at one point I'm just like, why am I doing this to myself? Like why, right?
Like sleep pattern pani ta bigriyo ni ta.
Yeah, sleep pattern 100%. It's like because we're switching back and forth, right? We're switching back and forth while I'm trying to maintain social life and normal things in my life.
Social night ta pura messed up bhayo la.
Yeah, on the days off I wouldn't really rest. I wish I did, because like I'm like, oh, I need to go out, and because I felt like I was missing out so much because I was working all the time.
And you're young 20s. You want to do that.
Exactly. I want to like be out and about with like friends and sunny. So that really, I think, where it was like, what am I doing with myself? Like I would have those moments during shift where it's like, I haven't eaten properly. I haven't had a chance to go on my breaks because it's so busy. I haven't slept the whole day basically. And now I'm working a night shift, and you know, I'm on my feet all the time, just like running around all the time. And why am I doing this to myself? Like, if I'm not taking care of myself, how am I going to be able to take care of someone who is going through a hard time in their life as well? Because patients are not just physically injured. They are also, you know, mentally too. They are going through a lot, right? Whether it be a new diagnosis of cancer, or they just had an injury or surgery, whatever it could be. So I think coming to that realization where it's like, oh my God, like what am I doing? I can't do this. Like I can't, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable to carry on like this.
Physical or mental shock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. So it's not sustainable in the long run. Yes, while I'm young, and you know, if everyone's doing it, I can do it, but sustainability the buoyant, right? Long-term wise. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you sorted that out early.
It took me years.
How long did you work?
In emergency department, I worked for 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah,
and then you realized you were burnt out.
Yeah,
and
I mean, in between, I did in between. I think the first time I realized that I was burnt out, or this could be burnout, was like I think back in end of 2017 to 2018, I would say. So this was a few years after I've started working as a full-time nurse. I had realized, okay, this could be burnout, and I was slowly, like looking for other jobs where I would allow me to rest a bit more than this, but I was still picking up here too. So I was doing other multiple jobs too. I don't think which helped either. Instead of resting, I was, like, oh, so maybe like, something I will like, or something I will feel more rested and enjoyable. Alikati आफूलाई take care गरेको जस्तो feel हुने हुन्छ नि on the days off. And that's what I was thinking. But again, anyway, choices were made that were not the best, but that's okay. That's how we learn. That's what life is.
Coming back and just realizing that life doesn't work out.
Yeah, exactly.
The exact way we want.
And that's how life is, right? Like life,
transition kasto bhayo ta अहिले. I guess now I know that you're in a much better place mentally, physically, and you have more times for your friends, for your families, and you tend to prioritize what's important for you personally. त्यो shift हुने बेलामा, I guess a lot of things also happened between COVID. COVID ले गर्दा पनि हामीलाई धेरै realize गरायो कि okay, what's important for us versus how much can I give भन्ने भयो नि त. So what, I guess, the transition, how has been working so far in your experience?
Transition was tough, I would say.
Tough?
Yeah, tough.
In what way?
It's like, you realize that you need to rest. You realize that you need to take care of yourself better. You need to slow down. You realize all these things and you want to do it. But I think we're in this culture where it's like, hustle all the time. Like if you're not, all like, it's like, so you need to have a side hustle. If you don't have a side hustle, you either do multiple jobs, or if you don't have that, you need to have something going on with your life to feel productive all the time. So it almost felt like I felt so guilty. Like, it's such a weird feeling to have. I know, like, there was a lot of, I think, guilt and also a bit of shame in it too, where I was like, oh, like, I am privileged enough to be able to take this rest, but I feel like I shouldn't take it because like others around me are not taking it. Like, why am I the only one, everyone is still working. Like working, they're doing their thing, like everyone seems to be doing fine. And I know very well in my heart that I don't know everybody. And who are these others anyway? Who are they? Yeah. But also people all have their own struggles, and, not everyone opens up about it, right?
Yeah.
Even my friend ko circle or money, not all of us always open up about things like this, like our struggles and stuff. And I was like, just because people are not talking about it doesn't mean they're not struggling either. And just because I see one side of them, right, doesn't mean that's their whole life, or they're happy, or they're amazing, or they're better than someone else because they're doing this, versus I'm not allowed to rest because everyone else is doing this, Yeah.
And also, hamro generation, or this is the time when everybody's like, show off the best thing and hide your pains and struggles into the pocket.
Yeah.
You don't have to talk about it.
There was an Instagram story where all you see is highlights of people's lives, but you don't see the downsides. Yeah. This stage of everyone's life is almost like that.
Highlights, lowlights.
Yeah, highlights, lowlights. There's so many of those, right?
Oh, too much.
Yeah, too much. And until you talk about it, you never know. And I think COVID was, in that sense, really, really forced everyone, including myself, to really just be with yourself and sit down and be like, okay, like, I need to slow down. The world has slowed down. It's about time that I slow down as well. And also, I think COVID le gardakeri, people, at least people in my lives, people that I've known for a while, I realized that there were so many parts of them that I had not known before, or I would have never known had it not been this whole pandemic that we went through, because I found that my friendships and my relationships with people were a lot more
shallow.
Not shallow, but like we were not as vulnerable with each other.
I don't think हाम्रो culturally पनि vulnerable बनाउन दिदैन जस्तो लाग्छ के. Right? हामी सबै जनाको राम्रो भइराछ सुन्न मन लाग्छ. उसको अब फलानाको फलाना के भइराछ राम्रो तर नराम्रो चाहिँ केही भएको छैन. नराम्रो भयो भने चाहिँ hide under the blanket टाइपको गर्ने के. अनि त्यो openly कुरा गर्न नसक्ने. And part of it is also coming from the generational trauma and what was experienced through life. दुःख पाछ दुःखलाई सम्झेर के गर्ने सुखकै कुरा मात्र गरौँ न त भेट्ने बेलामा कति नै भेट्ने हो र भेटुन्जेलसम्म त कमसेकम मिठो कुरा गर्दियौँ भन्ने त्यो कल्चर आई थिंक it is a good and bad in a way किन भन्दाखेरि अब नजिकैको मान्छे साथी भनेको छ हैन अब तर मिठो मात्र हैन तितो कुरा पनि त गरौँ भन्ने हुन्छ नि त गर्छ होला कति जनाले गर्छ होला but हाम्रो society in a way or at least our circles in a way is molded in a way that well we don't have to take that out when we're like hanging out
right? Like whether it be like or like I don't want to burden them or whether it be like oh like I'm gonna appear weak in front of them like there's so many layers to that and so vulnerability ma I feel like त्यो एउटा तरिकाको shame र guilt पनि आउँछ जस्तो लाग्छ
weakness
so weakness or like sometimes it's just if you're going through a really hard time sometimes it's just like oh I don't want to burden मेरो साथीभाइहरु or anyone that's close to me right?
Asking for help is such a hard thing
it's a very hard thing to do
oh man
it is no you're so right about it asking for help or just saying that I'm not doing okay because it's so easy for everyone to say even if you're having the worst day of your life oh I'm okay like that's like a generic it's like almost like factory resets again हाम्रो brainमा where it's like turn on गर्छ and this is
automatic response
automatic I'm okay and then that ends the conversation most of the times, right?
That builds such a invisible barrier between people's relationship. Even though you want to reach out and say, hey, how's it going? How's it going? Ko response, I feel like in a corporate world or like at least where I work or like my industry is involved and it's more like, okay, I'm good. How about you? And this you move on to doing the exact work that you were planning to discuss about. But in friend circle, personally, I think that has to be taken a bit heavily. Or heavily what actually are you feeling?
Yeah. Especially about right? It's like are you really doing okay though?
Like,
and then you just ended at that most of the times, right? I'm not saying it's like for everybody, different and so, but as a society in general, I feel like we could do better in that aspect for sure.
कस्तो ट्याबु छ है हाम्रो मेन्टल हेल्थको कुरा गर्ने बित्तिकै मलाई त कस्तो निकाल्नलाई पनि गाह्रो भइरहेछ you know what I mean?
I think I've gotten a lot better talking about it now हुन्छ नि त्यही भएर मलाई चाहिँ त्यो चाहिँ I think मैले कोभिडलाई दिन्छु credit to COVID not the pandemic
well thanks COVID at least you realized you made us realize what our values
exactly